Yo.
Nothing but air and opportunity.
Air and opportunity. That's all we need. Listen. Yo.
Foundationally, you were like a beacon.
And inspire to
So I think that's a key word, to inspire.
go towards change.
Can we talk about that?
Development and growth.
You've already laid the foundation and groundwork. You feel it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Now hold on. Hold that thought. Take a deep breath. Feel me here, okay?
I got nothing but air and opportunity.
I'm just getting pumped up.
Are you pumped?
I'm pumped, man. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this day.
Welcome to another episode of Air and Opportunity. Chris DePalma here with Dario. First episode of the new year.
You're not excited. Come on.
Man,
He
he did
got
this to me last
He just
time.
got here. He drove all the way from Frederick, like Hagerstown.
Yeah.
Come
I was
on,
up
man.
at 3 o'clock. I was excited.
He needs
All right.
more coffee. All
Welcome
right.
to another episode of Air and Opportunity.
Yeah.
First one of 2026. Chris DePalma here with co-host Dario Cavazos.
Yes, sir. Welcome. We're super excited today to have a special guest for the new year. I couldn't wait to have this conversation ever since I saw this kid come down a mountain. So we're here at Trader's Coffee House in Deep Creek, Maryland. Would you consider this McHenry or like? Yeah, this is McHenry, close by Oakland, Maryland. Deep Creek, also known as Lake Tahoe of the East. So we're here today with Chase Dejardin. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And so just a little bit of background. As a father, I was just impressed with this young man as he carries himself through what's called Deep Creek Winter Sports Team and the ski team that's up here in Deep Creek. So we've been part of a great community, and his father, Phil, is also a great role model and somebody that I admire for his respect and willingness to step out and say hello to folks and welcome them. So a couple years ago, we came to Deep Creek. We had tried out the ski team and was just like, wow, this is a great community. So we appreciate y'all. But what really truly inspired me, Chris, is when I saw and what these kids go through to come down the mountain. And I'm just like, good Lord, I feel like I'm going to break a leg or, just really hurt myself. But then I saw this young man come down the mountain, and Chase, I got to give you a lot of credit for what you do, but you always carry yourself very, very well.
One thing I want to mention,
Yes, go,
and I
fire.
want you to know this. October of last year is when Dario and I started working on putting this together. And our goal was to talk about leadership and mentorship and to help the youth, help young men find their way, where they may be missing leadership or a father figure. From day one, he was like, there's this kid at Deep Creek who, when we get our stuff together, we've got to have him on. So I want you to know it's been a year that he has talked about you and has said how impressed he is with you. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
incredible.
I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you really what it boiled down to was, I know that all the kids can come down the mountain and ski. What I think you do is you speak by your actions, right? I don't want this to be bad, but like, you don't say much. You just act. And you just come down the mountain, and I was like, good Lord. And then when you're around your buddies, right? Because we're watching as fathers, we're like, okay, is this a good group of kids? Are they, what are they up to? And you just carry yourself very, very well. And I think that stems probably from your mother. She carries herself very well. Your father, though, look, I love your dad. He's a great guy, and he's been, great with opening his arms. So that was really what stood out to me. And as Chris said, we're really looking to make sure that we share this with others and that there are good people and good fathers out there that are doing a great job with their sons. So
And good young men who understand what it means to be a leader.
yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
So
let's get into it.
I want to ask you, you mentioned when you're coming down the mountain and you're skiing, when you're going through that process, what are you thinking? Is it adrenaline? Does that pump you up, or what is it that?
Well, I've been skiing since I was probably 3 or 4, but racing since I was 8 or 9. So I've been doing it for kind of a while. So I guess back then it was kind of just adrenaline, kind of scared, but now it's just like excitement. I'm just excited to do it. I'm not too scared anymore. I'm just really excited.
Are there tactics to it as you're doing it? You know what I mean?
It's sort of just about remembering the training, stuff like that. It's kind of like when you're going down that fast, it's kind of easy to just revert back to instinct.
Yeah.
But if you kind of remember your training, it's a lot easier to take it smoothly and like, I guess, get down faster.
Well, and I imagine, my son has played baseball all his life, and he overthinks everything. And so what his coaches constantly tell him is don't think, just react. I imagine as you're going that fast, you just react, right? I mean, it's muscle memory.
Yeah, I know some people, like, they kind of, like, repeat a song in their head, kind of sing or stuff like that, but I kind of just, I'm not really thinking. I'm just moving.
You don't think at all,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. You just can't, well, I shouldn't say that. You trust your training and your basic skills that you've had.
It's like
since,
muscle memory.
Yeah.
How fast do you go? I'm not a skier. How fast do you go down?
For the races, I'm not really sure, but I have this app on my phone that can track, like, normal runs that I've got up to, like, 60, 65 miles an hour.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Are you serious? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Should we get a speed gun for next year? I think we're going to do that. We got to do that. So, Chris, we also do this thing. The team does a Governor's Cup, and last year was the first year out of how many years, Phil? Phil's off camera. What was it, like 3 years? I think it was like 3 years before they actually had one because they had no snow, right?
Yeah, the snow's been terrible at the end of the year.
So the dads were, we were trying to like come down the hill, and I know where he gets it from. He gets it from his father because he came down like cruising, and I was like, God, this is my first time I've ever done this. These kids are amazing because when they come down the hill, it is fast, and I was scared.
And you mentioned you have a race tomorrow, right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that here?
It's in Seven Springs. It's like another resort about an hour away.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us the difference between what's called an SL and a GS.
So SL stands for slalom, which is basically like the shorter of the events. It's like single gates that stand upright, and it's shorter radius turns, so probably 8 to 12 meter radius apart. So those like shorter turns, going much quicker, moving your feet fast, and you're actually like hitting down the gates as you go.
Yep.
And then GS is a giant slalom, and that's much bigger turns. It's two gates held together by a panel. You're going together, bigger turns, more smooth, going faster. And actually there's also Super G, which is super giant slalom. We compete in that very rarely, but sometimes it's just like much bigger, faster turns, and you actually go over some jumps.
When you're competing, are you winning trophies and stuff? Or are you winning money? How's that go? Or is it like school type stuff where you just your team ends up progressing through?
It's kind of not really team related at all. It's not through school or anything, but it's like, like trophies. Like you're always chasing the podium, but no money involved or anything.
And I know you're young, but I would ask what future for skiing, what are some aspirations? But I'm curious to know at your age, are you guys sitting down talking about like my goal this year? Is it just internal that you're driven? Or are you sitting down talking about goals and checking them off the list?
I'm not necessarily sitting down talking about them, but I definitely have those goals that I set in the back of the mind. For this year, it's like finish my races. I've had problems with like finishing races, falling before, and like kind of pushing it too hard. So finishing races and then making it to like the good postseason races, like qualifying for those bigger races at the end of the season. But in terms of like writing stuff down, I don't really do that too much.
How do you share those with others? Like, how do other people know? Like, if I'm sitting at the bottom of the mountain, I'm like, I don't know that he falls, or what is it that? How do you
or
share
that your goal is to
Yeah.
not fall?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of my close friends, me and my friend Trent and Asher, we have like pretty similar goals. Like it's kind of like our three people, we have this kind of group that's driven to do well in the ski races.
Wow.
So I guess us three, we kind of represent that group of people that's trying to push further
Yeah.
throughout the season.
And you're also representing the ski team, right? Yeah.
And do you get, I mean, obviously people look up to you, right? What's that like? I mean, you're a leader. What's it like? How do you know if someone wants to be a mentor? I assume you give people guidance or give them input, or right? How do you know at this age someone is interested or could use mentoring or guidance?
Yeah, so like in my age group, the U18, there's only a couple kids. So it's like the majority of people are my brother's age, Dario's son's age.
Yeah.
They're younger, the 9, 10, 11, those type of ages. So those kids, you kind of see like if they're working in practice, if they're trying to get better, versus the kids who are just kind of, their parents told them they have to be there. They're just kind of along for the ride.
Yep.
So it's kind of easier to give mentorship to those kids who are trying to get better and put in the work.
So you actually see that. You're actually paying attention to that, huh? Oh, that's cool. I like to know that.
Yeah, I talked to my son about it. My son's 17. He's a senior this year, plays baseball at Boonesboro High School. And that's what we talk about is him stepping up and being a leader this year. And I'll have to ask him. We talk about interviewing our kids.
Yeah,
I
we'll
need
have
to
to someday.
need to sit down and ask him these questions. That's bad, but That's interesting.
Yeah, my son gave me a hard time for this.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're interviewing Chase," and I was like, "Look, son, I love you. I think you're a great kid, but you gotta get on the podium." No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that to him, but I love him to death, and the boys were talking about this interview for quite some time, so I heard about it. But here's my big question to you: is like, growing up for me, I was a little bit heavy set. I wasn't like the kid who I loved skiing, and if it wasn't for my stepfather, I would have never known what skiing was. But like, how do you help those younger kids who may not, maybe their parents did make them come there? How do you think about that and say, you know what, I can step up and help them? Because I saw a little bit of mentorship that you're doing now through your school. Like, how do you act on that?
I feel like the message would just be like not necessarily focusing on racing in general. Like, I mean, parents force them to do the race team, but then like understanding that you can ski after practice, find what you enjoy. Because me and my friends, we also like to like free ski, do jumps, like kind of explore the mountain. So it's not necessarily about racing. I know like some of my friends don't like racing. Some of them don't like doing those jumps and stuff. So you kind of just got to find what's best for you.
Yeah. And then through your school, I was reading a little bit about your bio. You're volunteering. And how's that going through school? And one of the big things that Chris and I also take very seriously is academics. So how are you doing in school? Does your dad say if you don't do good in school, you can't race or anything like that?
No. My dad's pretty chill about that stuff, but like, it's going good this year. Junior year, that's what I'm in. If people say it's the most important year for like colleges, that's what they look at and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going good. We just finished this first semester. We had midterms before break. So right now I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Like stress-free going into the next semester.
Yeah.
And then in terms of volunteering and stuff, my school, Gonzaga in Washington, D.C., it's a Jesuit school, and they have a food like clinic shelter actually under the church. So it's called the Father McKenna Center. And there, like for breakfast and lunches, you can go serve. We do a lot of stuff through the McKenna Center.
You do? Okay. Yeah, I was looking at a little bit of the history there. Is it John Quincy Adams who was looking at that school a long, long time ago? I was doing a little Wikipedia search, and I didn't realize that was one of the oldest Jesuit schools in D.C. Is that accurate? Do you know anything about that, Phil? Second oldest.
Yeah, it's 1821, I think.
1821?
Yeah, we have some sort of like presidential charter, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Did you have a question, Chris?
Man, I'm
he's ready
I'm
to
just
go,
thinking.
baby.
No, I'm just thinking. So during the school year, tell us a little bit. It looks like swim, dive team. What else? What other sports are you doing?
Yeah, so I do cross country in the fall. I actually just started that last year. Going into my freshman year, my two main sports were soccer and lacrosse.
Okay.
So I was going to go in, play soccer in the fall, like take a break in the winter, then play lacrosse in the winter. So I started freshman soccer. That went pretty well. Not the best on the team, not the worst on the team. And then actually my swim coach, Mr. Kilner, he talked to me and he was like, Chase, I really want you to do dive and swim. I think it would really fit you. And I was like, I mean, sure, I'll give it a shot because like it's a fresh beginning with high school. And I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I was like, I don't think lacrosse is for me. I think I'm just going to stick with these two things. And then going into the next year, I got cut from soccer. I got cut from JV soccer, which was like a huge bummer for me. And I kind of didn't know what to do after that. So I just like signed up for cross country and started with that. So sophomore year was my first year doing that. And then this year, my junior year, I just got elected as captain for the cross country team.
Did they tell you why you got cut?
No.
No, they didn't. I want
No.
to dive into this, by the way.
Yeah.
Take everybody away. There's nobody there. Your dad's not there. Your mom's not there. Your brother's not there. What was that moment like when you were thinking all by yourself and those thoughts that are going through your mind? How did you work through that?
Well, it was kind of surprising. Like, I didn't think there was really a huge chance that I made the team, but again, it was still super disappointing. Because like at Gonzaga, our sports are super competitive, so like making those teams was going to be difficult. But like that was all I had my mind set to was soccer, because that's what I've been playing since I was 9 years old or something like that. So it was just like super disappointing, and I didn't really like see a future out of that. So it was just like kind of felt like a dead end after that.
So this is going into a little bit of like faith, right? So I'm going to assume maybe a Catholic family or
Yeah.
So the good Lord, I'm a big believer in the good Lord, and he has a path for me always. And did you feel like that was your path? Did you feel like, hey,
Like, oh, this happens for a reason.
Yeah, you know?
I think I realize that now, but at the time, it felt like everything stopped.
Who'd you turn to?
My parents.
Yeah.
My
Which
parents-
one first?
I think my mom was home at the time when I got cut, so she was kind of there for me at first. But then my dad, in terms of like signing up for cross country, finding out for what's next.
Yeah. I want to go a little bit deeper with that because this is what I think will help others. You know, and that's our mission, is to help others, you know, get through these things. I always remember when girls would be like, nope, I don't want to date you. And I would be crushed. It would stink. Do you have those problems as well? But when you turn to your mom, what did she say to you? What did you do? Like, what did you say to her at that moment?
I feel like she didn't really have much to say to me in terms, like, she was just kind of there as a comfort. But
Okay.
I think for her, it was kind of like she didn't really know what to do much either. Like, it kind of felt like a dead end for all of us. I mean, I don't even know if they had that much confidence in me making the team, but like, I guess they were just kind of, they were just there for me. They didn't really have that much guidance or anything. It was just kind of like comfort and like helping me decide what's best for me next.
Yeah.
Well, I would say sometimes, but all the times, it is, as a parent, when you watch a child go through that, it's so painful because you want,
Ugh.
you know, I mean, it's so painful. So I can only imagine. And sometimes it's tough as parents to just be there because parents are, you know, it's always like you're in parent mode and removing obstacles. So you're so quick to, you know, give
Yeah.
input so sometimes just being there is helpful too.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think my parents realized before me how like competitive these types of teams are. So I think they realized before me that I didn't necessarily have a future in soccer. But then this tryout, I was dragged on. Like, I made it past the first cuts. I kept going. I made it like all the way to the last day when they did those final cuts. So I think they were kind of just disappointed how long like it was dragging on without like giving me some like closure.
Yep. You've said a couple times you don't think that your parents thought you were gonna make it. Why do you think that?
I think they knew how like competitive it was, and I think deep down I knew I wasn't gonna make it either. But like I was still holding on to that last bit of hope that I was.
Yeah.
So I think we were all kind of just like trying to move past the fact that like the soccer was gonna be like too difficult.
Yep. And so you pivot, right? So you end up into diving and swimming, right? Was that immediately after that, or did it go to cross country?
I went to cross
first?
country because I got cut at the end of summer. That's when they hold tryouts, and then cross country is like super relaxed. I could just sign up, email the coach, and I was on the team. No tryouts, anything like that.
And I was terrible in school, so I don't know a lot about any of this. So cross country is cross country running, right?
Yes, sir.
Had you run before?
No.
And do you run outside of school? I ask because I've run a lot, so it just interests me.
Yeah, so I hadn't run anything before, so it was kind of like first day of practice. Like I was kind of thrown into it, and those first 2 weeks, they were terrible. It was actually terrible. It was just running every day. I was gonna quit soon.
Yeah.
It was not
Really?
really fun at all. Yeah.
How'd you
Did you
get
throw
through
up
it?
at all?
I didn't throw up at all, but
Okay.
I just
I
felt
just had to know.
just
That's all I hear
sore-
runners do.
sore, exhausted. I didn't think it was for me. But after those 2 weeks, your body gets used to it, and it's kind of like I feel like what they call like the runner's high.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I feel good.
During that time though, what'd you do to get through it? I mean, was it like rest, eating a certain way? What was it?
It's eating way more.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really gaining any weight during cross country season, but I'm eating way more because after practice, like even after easy days or a hard workout, I'm just eating so much more.
And what are your typical runs distance wise?
Like easy run is like 4 to 6 miles.
Okay.
And then we do workouts where it's like 1,000 meters at tempo pace. We
Okay.
do like mile repeats, stuff like that.
And I think I read that you're the captain.
Yeah.
So I want you to know I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
The first thing is understanding that, you know, something isn't for you, and then that realization, and then moving on, and then having a father and a mother, and you have 2 brothers too. So I don't know if they gave you a hard time. I doubt they did, but they look up to you, right? And they see that you're able to do that. So that's amazing that you were doing that. And then this cross country thing, and then skiing. How do you see that helping you become a man in the future?
I feel like it's kind of like maybe looking past like the actual like athletic ability, because like in cross country, I'm not necessarily like the fastest. I'm like was running JV at the end of the season, even though I got elected as captain. So it's not like I'm super fast, but I still hold that leadership position, which is kind of different from skiing. I've been used to being like a faster skier. I've been used to podiuming and stuff. So it's kind of like taking that like leadership position where I don't have the athletic ability and bringing just that to skiing, where I can focus on the leadership more than my leadership doesn't stem from being fast at skiing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so in cross country, how did you figure that out? I mean, when you're running, you're focused on yourself in a lot of ways, growth, running, you're not the fastest, but how do you see and recognize, okay, there's a place for me as a leader?
I think it could be like with the new freshmen, like those new freshmen. Like I mean, I remember in my freshman year, they're always looking like they're just kind of there. Like they don't know anything. They haven't experienced high school, so they're kind of just looking for like someone to kind of take them under their wing.
Yep.
But
Sorry.
that feels so good to
Yeah.
be a freshman and you doing that.
So I remember like at the beginning of the season trying to like do that for some of those freshmen, and then also I think it's kind of like the team atmosphere. Like in comparison to skiing is mainly individual. I mean, we're all on a team, but it's all like an individual sport. But cross country, it's like you're running individual, but you're running for the team. So with the way it works is like you have 7 runners on varsity, and only the top 5 count towards the score. But it's also the same for JV. So like even if you're running in the JV races, the top 5 are the ones who score. So even if you're one of those slower runners, you're still contributing to the team and holding leadership to win the race.
Yeah. You know, here's something that I'm trying to figure out here is like, what is it like being a teenager today? I think as dads and as parents, you know, we don't want to cross any boundaries, but what is it like being a teenager these days?
I think my school particularly does a good job of preparing us for the real world, like in terms of like our age. I mean, like which comes to mind is my ethics class. We're required to take a Catholic ethics class junior year, and it really helps me kind of like understand the world we live in today in terms of like, they don't really get political, but in terms of like how we stand in the world, how we are obliged to step up in the world we live in today as the teenagers of America. Like we are the young people who make
The
up
next
America.
generation.
We have to step up and do something if we want to live in a good world.
Lee, yeah. My last question on this then. These phones, I just have to ask, right? Is it so important? And, you know, every time I go somewhere, it's just like focused on the phone. How important is it to be connected? Or is it really like, I really don't need this phone. I just want to be with my friends. Where do you get the most satisfaction out of, you know, technology or being with friends? What stands out to you? What should I be thinking as a dad?
Well, I think like procrastination is probably my biggest struggle in school, like always being on my phone, like having it with me while I'm doing my homework. So it's kind of hard to just like give that away.
Yeah.
But I think if I didn't have my phone, I'd be a better student. I think I wouldn't have to study as much.
Yeah.
But it's like hard to just like give it up and like just like keep it away. But I think locking it in another room, like focusing on what's important. But then also the stuff with like the AI nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like so tempting to just like throw your homework into ChatGPT, like do all that type of stuff where you don't have to do the work. But I think that's where like a lot of students in the teenagers I know that go to some other schools, they're not doing work anymore. They're just
Yep.
like throwing it into AI, making it do them for them. And while that does help with good grades, it's like you're not really learning anything anymore.
Yeah, at some point, you're going to have to stand on your own.
Amen. I completely agree.
So one of the questions I have written out for you that we talk to everybody about, if you could give kids your age one important message about growing up and becoming responsible, what would you tell them?
I would say that the pressures and stresses of academic life don't really matter that much. Last year, my sophomore year, I was super stressed about school, studying a lot, doing a lot of homework. My whole life was just school, school, school. But this year, I'm in harder classes. I'm still doing well, but I don't really have that stress. There's no one really putting stress on me anyway, so why should I stress myself out about what I'm going to do? And I mean, in terms of college, that's been on the top of my mind, kind of stressful about where I'm going to go, how I'm going to make those decisions. But then just like kind of putting that in the back of my mind, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I like that.
So I think about my kids, and I wouldn't say they're self-centered, but I mean, obviously at this age, you can be very self-centered. What drives you to see an opportunity and pay it forward? Where's that come from?
Okay, so like, I think a lot of times like I can feel kind of self-centered, like entrapped in my own little world, like focusing on my school, like how I'm doing in cross-country swim, stuff like that. And then like I see some of like the injustices in DC. Like I got a school in like the heart of DC. We're like a couple blocks away from the Capitol building. The majority of the kids take the metro to school. They go to Union Station. So I think like seeing some of those injustices, walking past homeless people on the way to school, like seeing like racism in our community, it's kind of like a call to action to say that we need to do something about that. And that's where I kind of feel like the McKenna Center, like my service opportunities fall into there. So we also have this thing called a unique residential, which is a senior citizens like community right next to Gonzaga. So like people go play over there. They play like bingo. They do a bunch of service over there, and then also in the McKenna Center serving lunch. I feel like being in the heart of DC, I'm called to do stuff like that.
Do a lot of your friends have the same mentality?
Yeah, I think it's a big thing at Gonzaga. That's like kind of what drives our student motivation. That's kind of like the heart is like we are called to serve as like our motto is men for others.
So it's the culture there.
I think I saw you out to dinner. I didn't want to be that guy.
You asked him for an autograph?
Well, no, I was like, God, this guy's a legend, right? And he doesn't even know it. When you were out with your friends, your parents aren't there. And I'm sure it's tough, because it was tough for Chris and I going through high school. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, you know what, guys, I can't be a part of that, you know? Or like, how do you go through those decisions, or have you been through that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in situations in terms of like parties and stuff at school, like back at home and stuff like that. But I think I'm pretty well grounded in what I believe in.
Yeah.
So I think it's not too difficult for me to make the right decision when I'm faced with a tempting opportunity.
Yeah, that's my biggest worry. Quincy, woof, my man, I love him to death. But
It was always
You
my
know?
worry with my kids too. And I think a lot of it is how you're raised, but a lot of it too is when you're into these activities, like my kid's principal, he says, if you're not into something after school, you will get into something,
Absolutely.
usually no good. That's what I did.
Yeah.
But I think that helps. What is, when you're helping people, what is a gap you see? Whether it's a skill gap, but what is a gap you see?
I think it's like a confidence gap.
Okay.
Like I've especially seen it myself, like kind of feeling like I'm kind of, because I try to involve myself in like the people that are like better than me or have the same like drives as me. But I kind of feel like sometimes that I'm like lower than them, or I don't have those like, in terms of like academics, like people that have higher scores or better GPAs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I gotta realize like I'm confident that I can live up to that potential. But then I see like when I've tutored people in the past at school, they just don't have any confidence in what they're learning and like their test scores and stuff like that. So it's I guess like if you have the confidence to do what you want, then it's gonna work out better for you than if you're just like sitting there like, no, you can't do anything.
How do you help people through that?
With the confidence.
Yeah.
I think like reassurance,
Yep.
like telling them, and also like kind of like guiding goals for themselves. Like a lot of people can't really like make goals. Like I've seen it in tutoring where like people have just given up.
Yep.
Like at the end of the quarter, they have like a bad grade and they kind of see that as the end, but it's like you always have the next quarter, you always have the
That's
next
right.
test. Just like reassuring them there's always more you can do.
Yeah. I'm going to need more cowbell. I'm going to have to get more cowbell for the race when it's come tomorrow, man. I'm bringing it for you. You just inspire me, man. I got to tell you.
Other than family, other than mom and dad, who else would you say has made an impact in your life?
Well, definitely my brothers, because they look up to me and like, I mean, like I fight with them all the time, but they're definitely like, super important in my life. And then also like my swim coach that I mentioned before, who convinced me to join the swim team. He was my freshman year bio teacher.
Okay.
So he convinced me to do it, and like ever since then, he's kind of been my role model. He's been there for me. I'm probably gonna ask him to write me a college letter.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's super important to me, and like I look up to him a lot at my school.
Glad you brought that up. College and next steps. What do you think right now? What are some of your goals?
Right now, I've just been touring colleges, kind of looking to like narrow down my list of what I think is right. But for me, I want somewhere that I can like continue like rigorous academics, but also being like happy at the same time
There
to
you
enjoy
go.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, so like in skiing, like I know I'm not going to be like a Division I skier, but
Yeah.
I think I want to ski like maybe on a club team or be somewhere where I can continue to ski and like pursue that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be a Division I skier?
It's super difficult. Like Dartmouth, for example, they have their own mountain, they have a really good team, but all those people, they're either top 5 in the country or they're foreign.
Gotcha.
From other countries.
Yeah, no, I hear it's very hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
I just asked
Yeah.
because my son is constantly like, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I'm always like, well, why can't you? Why can't you?
Yeah.
So I want to know what goes through the mind just when you look at those scenarios. So as you look forward, what would be your preference for a sport when you go to college?
What do you mean by that?
Say you have to pick one. What are you going with?
Oh, skiing, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's locked in.
Yeah, I love
Well, I think
skiing.
you've got a good role model over there. helping you out with that.
So when you go to college, I mean, I guess as you tour colleges, you're looking at colleges that have ski teams, right? What interests you? Which school right now?
I mean, we went to visit UVA, the University of Virginia, and they have this like a club ski team that my cousin was actually a part of. So we went to visit. They all live in like a ski house, which is like similar like a frat house, but like instead of a frat, it's a ski club.
That sounds amazing.
You don't want to go further north.
I mean, I think wherever would be good. Like I think UVA is super good at academics as well.
Absolutely.
We've also gone to Boston College. They have a Division I team, but they don't even have a club team actually. We've also gone up north to Bowdoin
Oh, yeah.
and Colby. They have good club teams as well. And they're far up north, so they have good skiing up there.
You don't want to be far away from your parents?
I don't want to be too close, but I don't want to be like super far away.
Yeah, okay.
That's good
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
How do you shift your mindset? I'm having these conversations with my son right now. How do you shift the mindset from, a goal or an aspiration, maybe someday to be a Division I skier, and say, well, they have a good club team too. I ask this because right now my son is like, no, club's not good enough. And I'm like, why say that? So how do you make that shift to say, club sounds good?
I feel like you just kind of have to like understand what's gonna make you happiest. Like I feel like a lot of my friends are like being recruited athletes and stuff, and they're kind of like, I just want to go D1
Yeah.
no matter what. But then they're like, you look at the schools where it's like a lower D1 is like nobody's ever heard of it, nothing. And then you look at like those high D3s where it's like they might even be a better team, they have way better academics, and it's like everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
So I
And
don't
more
know-
playing time too,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, exactly.
participation.
And having fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have
Sounds
way better time there. But I don't know, people just like are stuck on that idea of like having that like D1 name.
Yeah.
I think if you understand that like you gotta go wherever makes you happiest, then I think it'll work out better for people.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
No, when I think about this and I bring it forward, when you're 25, right, and you're on this path, what do you want to say to your parents that, hey, I got it, Mom, Dad, I feel like I'm successful? How do you see yourself at 25 and looking back and be like, I had it, it's all good?
I would probably just like thank them for like not necessarily like pushing me too hard. 'Cause I think there's a lot of parents in my school that are like pushing the academics, like making them study 6 hours a night, like Ivy League or nothing, kind of that sort of mentality. But like, I think my parents do a good job of showing me that you'll end up where you're supposed to end up and where you're going to be happiest.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of mentality is better than just pushing for the highest level possible. That's not to say like don't try in school.
Yeah.
But like you should try your hardest, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to make it to that highest level.
Yeah, I would agree. I think with some of the mental issues that we have, psychologically, some kids these days don't have anybody to turn to. They do push themselves harder because they feel like they have to be at a certain level, when at the end of the day, what I'm hearing from you is like, man, I got great parents, I got good brothers that look up to me, and that confidently in the future you'll be able to deal with these things and you'll be successful no matter what, and work on yourself internally versus externally. I got to commend you, partner. You're doing a great job, and your parents have done it even better. But let me understand one other thing. Growing up, what's the one thing that you remember your dad or mom or grandmother or grandfather, all these people that are helping you, like what stands out to you that somebody said to you and you're like, God, I can never forget that. It just always rings in my mind.
Probably something my dad says to me pretty often, where it's like after I get like I do good in a ski race or I get a good grade, he's like, am I proud of you because you did good, or am I proud of you because you tried hard? And I think that's a good kind of quote that he tells me a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like, even if I don't do good, he's still gonna be proud of me because I put my best foot forward.
No,
You know
I
what?
Yeah.
As a father, that was the hardest thing for me to learn. I didn't do good in school. I dropped out of high school when we were younger. I went back and got my GED 20 years later, but because of that, I push my kids, because you know what your kid's potential, as a parent, you think your child's potential is, out through the roof. And to make that mind change, that shift, to learn, it's not necessarily about what you get on your test or what you get in the class, but it's the effort you give. But I've learned it now, and I've learned it from my kids. I've learned it, and that has made such a big difference. And I tell my kids this all the time is, my son or my daughter will talk about, I think I didn't do good on this test. And I'm constantly saying to them, all I care is that you just gave it your all. Or I ask them, did you give it your all? Did you really study? Are you really holding your, accountability?
Yeah. Plus love, and the being there, like you said
The
before,
support,
somebody to
yeah.
support. Yeah.
So academically and just future interests.
I've-
Aside from the skiing at school, what do
gotta
you
break away from the skiing here
what
for a minute, just for a split.
What are
This
some
has kind of been
goals?
like hard for me. Like last year, I was super like attached to kind of like the medical field, like going into maybe becoming a doctor or something sort of like that. So I was looking at some medical summer opportunities, stuff like that. But now I'm kind of straying away from that. I think there's just so much schooling that has to be done that maybe doesn't interest me too much. So now I'm kind of looking past that and just exploring what other things interest me.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're happy.
Well, and you've
know?
got the work ethic and the drive. I mean, you probably do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Leadership, as you get older, or as you go to college, what are any thoughts on leadership as you grow that way?
I think right now I'm a member of the like a nation leadership team in my school. That's like we run retreats. We like organize those retreats. We organize those like service opportunities, stuff like that. And that's probably been like my favorite experience in my academic side of high school. Doing something like that in the future will definitely interest me, being part of some type of spiritual team where we can help younger people.
Chris, I got to just close with a couple things, which is, what didn't we ask you? What do you want others to know?
And I'll add to that,
Yeah.
because I was going to ask similar, but
Yeah.
key takeaways. So
Yeah.
as a leader, as a young man,
man.
what do you want people to take away from this when they hear it?
Yeah.
I think a couple key takeaways would be like putting your best foot forward no matter what, but understanding that that's not the only thing that matters. Success doesn't come from the traditional success of being the best, going Division I, going to Ivy League, but rather putting your best foot forward, being the happiest you can be, and making yourself proud by achieving your goals.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything to
Wow.
add?
Get over there, man.
Please.
Come on.
Jesus,
Get in
Dad,
there.
you're stepping in for a second.
Yeah.
I think part of it is like sitting down and watching you guys handle these things. The way you approach this podcast, the way you approach reaching out to a young man like Chase, it's impressive. I think as a dad, being proud and watching him respond to these things, I think it's been pretty cool. And I love the maturity that he's bringing to his life in general. You think he's a 16-year-old kid, got a year and a half of high school left, but really trying to think through, what do I want? And I think that the way he talked about that, what's going to be the best fit for me? What are my long-term goals? Where am I going to be happy? And I think it's the idea of like, how do I find that balance of something I'm going to enjoy like skiing and think about it from a club perspective? Or maybe it's even ended up at a school that's got a mountain 45 minutes away where you get a foot of powder like we did yesterday, Dario, and
Yeah.
then get out there with his buddies like you and I did yesterday morning. Yeah. And that might be the balance he's looking for. So I really appreciate the maturity he's bringing to this search as he thinks about the next chapter of his life.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man.
Super impressive, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even your father, and it makes me teary. Super impressive.
Without a doubt, man. And I'm going to share this story just real quick as we wrap up. I remember, so I grew up with a mother who was divorced at a young age, and my father, went a certain way. I still love him. I love them all, right? But I remember when I was thinking about going to school, my mother was like, you got to go to school. You got to go somewhere. And I was like, no, I really don't want to. I just want to ski. That's all I want to do. And my mom was like, no, you got to go to school. And I was like, well, fine. If I'm going to go to school, I'm going out west. And as a single mother and an only child, she was like, heck no, you are not going out west. So I regret that. I wish I would have had, and I'm nothing against my mother. I love her to death. She's a sweet woman. But you have great parents who are allowing you to be yourself, go out and do those things. So even if you want to go out west, man, they got some good skiing out there and they got some good club teams. But I don't know if your mom's going to let you go that far. Congratulations. You've done amazing. You speak volumes based on, as a father, seeing you from afar. And I was very impressed when I first met you. And like Chris said earlier, when I talked about you, man, that resonates. So you're going to be wildly successful. Just make sure you take care of your brothers and give your mom a hug. All right, give your dad a high five.
Yeah, and again, it's been a year, man. So we get together every week and we talk about goals. And we talk through scheduling people that we want to have on the podcast. And just from day one, it's always been to make sure we get you on there. So
Yeah.
a pleasure meeting you. I wanted to ask, so you have ski practice today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tonight,
So when you leave here,
it's a night practice.
Night
So tonight at I think it's 7:30. We're running gates on Squirrel Cage, which is that main run.
what's that mean?
We're
Running
like,
gates on Squirrel
Hey,
Cage.
man, here
What's
we
that
go.
mean?
we're doing those like solemn gates with tight turns.
okay.
That we're
Yeah.
just lapping it.
Man, on the
night.
Yeah,
so
these guys are impressive.
and man,
And girls.
Yeah,
Wanna
I don't
take that?
ski, but I mean, are you on like steep slope, like Black Diamond or something when you're doing these? Is
Yeah,
that
Squirrel Cage is a black diamond. I mean, for most people, it's like a pretty steep black diamond. But I'd say for like all of our ski teams, like all of us, we're pretty used to it, and we're just having fun, like running the gates.
awesome? My last question
Yeah,
as we go
come
out,
on, man. We gotta wrap this guy up.
bucket list,
It's outta
place
here.
to ski.
It's not a place, but I want to go helicopter skiing.
Wow.
Wow,
Aim
that's a
high,
goal.
aim high, Willis.
Yeah, hey, man, do it.
Good.
All right, so get us out of here. Any last thoughts?
I would just say like have fun this ski season.
There you go.
Awesome.
Man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Thank you for
partner.
having me.